As South Africans try to balance runaway price hikes in petrol and diesel, the Liquid Fuels Wholesalers Association said the country needs to get its refineries up and running again. The association says it's important that we ensure the sustainability of the industry. Earlier this year, oil giants BP and Shell shut down their refineries. For more on this, let's chat now to Peter Morgan from the Liquid Fuels Wholesalers Association of South Africa. Peter, good afternoon and thank you very much for your time. Just first, an overriding question. Is this the right time to bring back the refineries?
You see, for us, it is the right time, and it's what we've learned in the last couple of months that's brought this whole discussion forward again. If we go back one step, and when you said Shell and BP closed their refinery, so did Engen, so did Astron. And, you know, Petra SA hasn't been refining for a while. And I went back and asked myself the question is, you know, what caused these refineries to mothball their operations? And we know that it was because they're small in relative to global refineries, because globally people are building massive refineries because of the economies of scale. There was a lack of funding, underinvestment in our local refineries. There was a call for clean fuels, and the timing was set for September 2023. And the oil industry, the refiners were telling us that it was cheaper to convert to import terminals than it was to get their refineries up to speed to be able to make these clean fuels. So these refineries have been really what they call parked or mothballed. And that discussion sort of happened naturally over a process in time. But now I've been asking myself the question the last month or two that says, what's changed? Well, the war in Ukraine hit us that nobody expected. And when we're talking about going to import terminals instead of refineries, we expected that there was going to be some challenges that came with it. However, there was a few things we didn't expect, are the challenges that came from the Ukraine war in regards to pricing and to product availability. And in there, I talk about, you know, what we've come to understand that Africa has experienced a disproportionate hardship when it comes to fuel since the Ukraine war started.
Okay, so on the refineries, how realistic is it that these that you've mentioned that have been mothballed can be brought back up and again to assist the country to manage during these trying times?
You see, if they've been mothballed, that means that they haven't been turned off, which means you can get them up again. So I'm saying that, you know, if we look at the situation where we are now and we start to ask ourselves questions, especially around the pricing of the product, and we've all had discussions in the last couple of months around how the price is spiking so tremendously. And we know that if we had refineries that were using crude oil, then the stability of the price in crude has been way better than imported finished product, because that's where the biggest spikes have been in imported product rather than crude oil. So, you know, there's almost a lesson that we're learning. And as we're going along for that learning lesson, perhaps we need to start the discussion at security of supply must be the focal point for South Africa. And if we start there, then we start asking ourselves that, you know, are there new opportunities where we need a new focus in our discussions? Bring the stakeholders to the table with fresh impetus. See where the discussion takes us. You know, there's an interesting news article I heard this morning. Somebody was mentioning to me that Kenya at the moment has a massive shortage of product. I was told about eight or 9 days ago that there was a vessel parked outside of Beira, and that vessel had product in it for Zimbabwe and for Kenya. However, the price of the product on the vessel was higher than the selling price in the market of those two countries. So that vessel stayed there for between 30 to 40 days and then just left because nobody could afford to buy that cargo. So, you know, if we start the discussion that says security of supply is where we start that discussion.
Okay.
And then we start asking ourselves about the critical need for strategic stocks. Astron has said they're coming back online in September, so it's possible perhaps they're the forerunner. You know, we found crude in Namibia. What does that mean to us?
Okay. What would
South
you?
Africa,
Yeah.
with our neighbors?
What would you, as an association, I understand you've got about 30-odd members in South Africa, what would you want to see then happen next? You are currently discussing your thoughts that you're expressing around reopening the refineries and building up the strategic stocks and then creating a plan that you say will help the country secure the supply. What should happen next? What do your members think?
You see, our members are product takers from the refiners and also price takers from the refiners. So if they've got a constant source of supply coming out of their refineries, then the discussions and the negotiations we have with refiners is a lot more constant and a lot more bankable because we know what to expect in the future. Currently, with the way the price is moving because of imports, if a ship is late for some reason and it's 3 weeks on the water, or even if we have vessels in Durban that stack one behind the other, that means that we're not discharging the vessels quick enough. And we've already started to see that it's having an effect on the pipeline to get product in there. So what we would like to see is constant source of supply, constant understanding of where the price is going to go, so we can plan our businesses, and because we operate in the non-urban areas. So if we don't have product, that means the non-urban areas, all the outlying areas in South Africa, we can no longer guarantee security of supply in those areas.
Okay.
So we need that security ourselves to be able to pass it on.
Okay. Thank you very much, Peter Morgan. Very clear. It's tough times indeed for the industry as a whole. He's, of course, from the Liquid Fuels Wholesalers Association, who supply most of rural South Africa. And with the current price hikes in fuel and the lack of supply,